Welcome back, our fans. Toyota Motor Corporation is the largest Japanese car manufacturer headquartered in Toyota. The company is engaged in the manufacture of cars, commercial vehicles, trucks, buses and auto parts. It retains the title of the world's largest automotive company in terms of sales. The history of Toyota Motor Company began in 1933 as a separate division of the large Toyota Automatic Loom Works, which was engaged in the production of looms. Sakichi Toyota, the founder of the company, was a talented engineer and inventor. He was the first in Japan to make his own automatic loom and constantly improving his innovation. His company became successful in the Japanese market and famous all over the world. In the early 30s of the last century, the device of Toyota machines attracted the attention of the then largest textile manufacturer in the world. The British company Platt Brother and Company Sakichi agreed to sell the patent rights to the machine, and his son Kichiro went to the United Kingdom to complete the deal. It is worth noting that the car, which was one of the main engineering inventions of the time, captivated and occupied the mind of Sakichi Toyota. His son also took care of cars. However, having visited England, he literally got sick from the idea of creating his own car production. With the £100,000 patent rights sold, Kichiro Toyota has established a new division within his father's company focused on automotive development. In 1937, it switched to Toyota Motor Company. There is little money in the country. Local production helped reduce costs, create jobs and make the country more independent. By 1936, immediately after the construction of Toyota's first successful cars, the Japanese government demanded that most of the shares of all automakers be owned by the country's residents, and also stopped almost all imports. Kichiro Toyota oversaw the automotive industry. He started experimenting with two-cylinder engines, but ended up replicating the design of Chevrolet's six-cylinder engine with 65 horsepower. In addition, the brand copied the Chrysler Airflow chassis and gearbox, and drum brakes for each wheel. The four-door sedan, with traditional suicidal front and rear doors, received a flat one-piece windshield with an overhead wiper and a spare wheel mounted on an almost vertical rear window. The all-metal body was in the foreground at that time, mainly using wooden body parts. From 1936 to 1943, 1,404 AA sedans were produced. During World War II, Toyota completely abandoned the manufacture of civilian vehicles. Automotive factories produced military trucks, amphibians, light all-terrain reconnaissance vehicles and components for fighter jets. At the same time, the assembly was carried out at an accelerated pace, often in a simplified version. For example, trucks were produced with a single headlight. After the surrender of Japan, Toyota Motor, like all companies that supplied the army, found itself in an unenviable position. Despite the fact that the automaker's factories suffered a little from bombardment, a ban on the production of cars was imposed. In December 1945, Toyota received permission from the United States Army to begin manufacturing consumer goods. Until 1947, factories produced tools and pans. However, Kichiro Toyota did not give up his passion. Immediately after the end of the war, the brand's designers began to develop a new model. Due to its decline after the war, it was a small and economical model, the two-door SA sedan. It is equipped with a 1.0-liter four-cylinder engine with 27 horsepower. Classic design. Externally, the Toyopet, as it was called, was similar to the Volkswagen Beetle. It accelerated to a top speed of 88 km/h, was cheap and undemanding. Toyota SA, 1947 to 1952. In addition to the SA, the Toyopet family included the most successful SD engine, the SF model, which made the brand really famous, and RH with a 48 horsepower engine. By 1955, Toyota was producing 8,400 cars per year, and by 1965, it was producing 600,000. In addition to all these vehicles, Toyota began to produce civilian trucks under the Land Cruiser name. They are developed in the style of Jeeps. The first generation relied on a truck chassis weighing 1,000 kilograms. It was the world's first six-cylinder four-wheel drive passenger car instead of a four-cylinder engine. In 1953, 298 off-road vehicles were produced, which ended up mostly in the services of the Ministry of Forestry and Agriculture of Japan, as well as the Police Reserve. In 1955, the second generation of SUVs was released. Toyota Land Cruiser BJ, 1953. In the early 50s, Toyota introduced a number of manufacturing principles that helped it build its reputation as an automaker with some of the best quality cars in the world. The just-in-time principle has saved costs and storage space by making production as accurate as clockwork. Even in the company's textile past, automatic machines stopped as soon as a broken thread was found. The same principle was implemented in the production of car assembly. Each worker monitored the quality of the parts and components used in his area. In the event of a malfunction, he pulls a special wire that stops the conveyor belt. So all the shortcomings were identified at an early stage, and the defective cars did not reach the market. The next innovation was a system of encouraging initiative and proposals for rationalization of employees, which made it possible to significantly increase production efficiency and motivate employees. Successful proposals were implemented, and innovators received financial rewards. 1955 saw the launch of the first luxury car, the Toyota Crown, which was powered by a 1.5-liter four-cylinder engine. In 1957, the company entered the American market, where it exported two models, Land Cruiser BJ and Crown Sedan. In 1959, the company opened its first factory outside Japan and Brazil. Since then, Toyota has maintained the philosophy of production localization and product design. The company's entry into the North American market was not as successful as expected. In the first year, only 288 cars were sold. They cannot compete with American competitors either in appearance, dynamics, or in prestige. Sales head Shotaro Kamiya introduces new principles in the company's philosophy: customer first, not car. In the early 60s, voracious American cars with a huge engine were still at their peak. But one could already hear the quiet, but non-silent song of small cars, which became a favorite in the next decade. Toyota Corona was one of the sounds of the new trend of cars. The car was introduced in May 1957. Equipped with a 33 horsepower engine, it was reliable, inexpensive and economical, which made it very popular amid the boom in birth rates. In April 1958, the model received a facelift, which meant changing the hood and door handles. At the back, there are elements reminiscent of the 1949 Ford sedans. The engine was replaced by a 997cc engine with 45 horsepower, accelerating the small car to 105 km/h. Thanks to the monocoque body, the weight of the model is 1,000 kilograms. Toyota Corolla, 1957 to 2002. In 1962, Toyota produced its millionth car, and 10 years later, the total production of cars reached 10 million units. In the late 60s, the Toyota Corolla became the best-selling car in the world. Later, this achievement will be entered in the Guinness Book of Records. As of December 2000, a total of 25 million units of the model had been sold. By 2006, the total volume of the issue reached 32 million. The car is equipped with rear-wheel drive and a longitudinal engine. This design did not change until 1984, when the first front-wheel drive Corolla appeared. The first generation of the car was sold only in the domestic market. The second generation was distinguished by rounder body lines. It was presented in two models, Sprinter and Corolla, which differed in sheet metal and interior. In total, 11 generations of the model were released. Corolla, 1966. 1967 saw the release of the legendary 2000 GT, a sports coupe developed with Yamaha. It has become evidence of the ability of the Japanese automaker to produce not only affordable small cars, but also high-level sports cars. In terms of dynamics, the 2000 GT was not inferior to the Porsche 911. Acceleration to 100 km/h in 8.4 seconds, maximum speed, 220 km/h. It is equipped with a 6-cylinder engine with a volume of 2 liters and a power of 150 horsepower. There was no particular excitement about the model, only 351 units were produced in total. This was largely due to the high price of the car. However, it is now of particular importance for collection, and even then it was putting the Japanese automaker on a par with the most respected sharks in the automotive world. Thanks for watching. Support us by likes and subscribes.